What's going on, football fans? How's everybody doing? Welcome in to the Truth League Report. I'm your host, Chris, aka Blue Enforcer, also known as The Truth. And we have a very good show coming for you today. I know it's been probably a week later than I was supposed to do it, but I had some things I had to take care of. And also with the Labor Day holiday yesterday, decided to go ahead and record. I'll go ahead and put this thing on today. So I'm glad, hopefully, everybody's having a good Tuesday edition. And we're definitely working some kinks out on time, things like that. So I appreciate y'all sticking with me. Again, make sure y'all do share this show out, whether it is on Facebook, as you can see down here at the bottom of your screen. You got Facebook, you got Twitter, and you have Instagram. Facebook, the TNT Enforcers page. You also have on Twitter, TNT Blue Enforcer, and also on Instagram at Titans_in_truth. So definitely make sure y'all do join me on those pages as well. And we're going to have a good time. And as y'all saw on the graphic, we are talking AFC East today on this show. And so we're going to be definitely talking about what's going on with the Dolphins, with the Jets, with the Bills, and also the Patriots, and who I think is going to come out of the AFC East as division winner, and what could be done for each of these teams going forward. So make sure y'all again, definitely make sure y'all again share this show out to everybody. Let everybody know where they can find all these this great content that we do have. Definitely make sure that you hit that like button, also hit that share button, as well as subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Trying to get to 1,200, and also just trying to get more football fans involved in this show, not just Titans fans, even though that's my favorite team, but we're trying to get more fans on from other NFL teams as well. So definitely, definitely check out any of the Truth League Report. I've done some stuff on the other divisions, and we're going to be talking about the AFC East today. So let's just go ahead and get started with, and and as I've said before, definitely make sure y'all smash that like button and also hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. So let's go ahead and get into this conversation, and let's get started with the New York Football Jets. As you can see, they finished 4-13 last year, and they had a pretty rough go of it for a while. I mean, you got Zach Wilson at quarterback, which looks like, as of right now, he could possibly be back for the season opener. That is something that is being discussed within the Jets organization, possibly that he may be ready to go week one. I don't know if he will be or not, but there is a possibility in the Jets organization that Zach Wilson could be ready to go week one. And so, of course, they finished 4-13 last year. And some of the, one of the biggest takeaways was Robert Saleh's impact. His era has begun. And I know defense is his strongest point, which at times got a little bit better during the year. They definitely have a pretty decent defensive line. And then they got CJ Mosley at linebacker as well. But they just didn't have enough weapons. And really, Zach Wilson struggled through his first year, with injuries and things like that. So returning, he comes back after throwing for 2,334 yards, 9 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. You got CJ Mosley, who is a Pro Bowl caliber linebacker, who had 168 tackles and 2 sacks. And then you have the up-and-coming Elijah Moore at receiver, 43 catches, 538 yards, 5 touchdowns. But, of course, they have since added to the arsenal a little bit with that. I mean, with Corey Davis, who missed pretty much all of a lot of last season as well. They really didn't have the weapons for Zach Wilson. Some additions that they did make, they brought in tight ends CJ Uzuma from the Bengals, 3 years, $24 million, and also Tyler Conklin from the Minnesota Vikings, 3 years, $20 million. They've also went ahead and fixed up some of their offensive line, bringing in former Pro Bowl tackle Dwayne Brown at 2 years, $20 million, and Laken Tomlinson, 3 years, $40 million. And they bring in a safety in Jordan Whitehead, 2 years, 14 and a half. A couple of guys that they ended up losing, Marcus May, their very good safety, goes to New Orleans. Morgan Moses, a very good tackle, ends up going to Baltimore. Jamison Crowder goes to rival Buffalo, and Tyler Croft ends up going to San Francisco. So they did lose a couple of pieces defensively as well as offensively. But as far as the draft is concerned for the Jets, they definitely made some good choices. They had quite a few picks in the first round. They had originally 2 first-round picks, and then when they traded with the Titans back up into the first round to get another draft pick. So they got Sauce Gardner, a cornerback out of Cincinnati, who was regarded as one of the best corners in the draft. And then they picked Garrett Wilson at pick number 10 to give another weapon with Elijah Moore at receiver. And then they beef up the defense at pass rush with Jermaine Johnson II, defensive end from Florida State. So they definitely started off hot. And then they continue that with Breece Hall, running back from Iowa State, at pick 36, because they had 2 number 1 picks. They had 2 number 2s right together. And so they traded back with the Titans and got they traded back the Titans they traded back into the first round, excuse me. The Titans traded out of the first round and got pick 35. And so at 36, they get Breece Hall, a running back from Iowa State, and they got Jeremy Ruckert, a tight end from Ohio State, who I definitely liked. And then they get an offensive lineman in the 4th round in Max Mitchell, and then another pick in the 4th round in Michael Clemens from Texas A&M. But all in all, I think the Jets had a nice haul of players, especially in the beginning in the first 3 rounds. They definitely got some good players that could definitely help Garner, could definitely help in the secondary, Also, I think Jeremy Ruckert, if he could stay healthy, could definitely help the pass again. They'll have a nice trio of tight ends. And then Jermaine Johnson just adds to that defensive line with Quinnen Williams, with Franklin Myers. And so that is a pretty decent defensive line for the New York Jets. However, there's a lot of questions with this New York Giants team. And the question is, can Zach Wilson help make this team better and take the next step towards being a franchise quarterback for this team? 2, can Elijah Molden, not be just a slot guy, but maybe become the top receiver? Can Corey Davis actually do that coming off of injury? Or does Garrett Wilson take that step up? Defensively, do they continue to improve under Robert Saleh? Because that's his bread and butter. That's his side of the ball. So those are definitely some questions to be had. Of course, they brought in Joe Flacco as well to back up Zach Wilson, and he could potentially start for Zach Wilson if the injury is not fully done yet. So that's the questions that are coming that I had with the Jets. And so that's a lot. Coach Saleh is saying that it is possible that Zach Wilson does play Sunday, but right now looks like all eyes are pointing to Joe Flacco starting week 1 for the season for the Jets. So, that's definitely something that they're going to have to figure out. But as far as their schedule, I don't really have them doing too well, whether it's Zach Wilson or Joe Flacco in there. And again, I'm still a novice. I will tell everybody that I am a novice when it comes to this. I am slowly working on getting better at knowing other teams and things like that. So my record predictions most likely are going to be incorrect. So, but this just the way that I see it from the outside looking in on this Jets team. I don't really have them doing too well, only having them getting maybe a surprise upset over the New England Patriots and on the road in Seattle late in the year. I have the Jets finishing 2-15. I just don't think Joe Flacco can help them win more and Zach Wilson being down. But with Sauce Garner, with Elijah Moore, along with Garrett Wilson, they may end up being better than what they are. I think the defense can get better. I just don't know if this offense is going to be able to help as far as, to the point where the defense will probably hold on as long as they can until in the game they just end up breaking because the offense doesn't help them out. So, the Jets finished 4-13 last year. I could see them doing that again this year, also, but I just see them at 2-15. I just don't see them winning that many games, to be honest. The Bears game was kind of a toss-up. To be honest, Detroit might have been a little bit of a toss-up too. But other than that, I just don't see where some other wins could possibly come from. So that's kind of how I look at it with the Jets. 2-15 on the year. Next up, we're going to head to South Beach and we head to Miami. We'll head out to where the Dolphins play at Hard Rock Stadium. Of course, they finished 9-8 on the year. And, one of the things that was an impact would be the inconsistency of Tua Tagovailoa. And, he only had 2,653 yards, 16 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. There was some time where Jacoby Brissett had to play in his place. Even though he did have a stellar year from Jalen Waddle, 104 catches, 1,015 yards, 6 touchdowns, 5 interceptions for Xavier Howard, the all-pro corner. But he does get some help as the Dolphins traded for Tyreek Hill in the offseason and gave him that big contract, making him the highest paid wide receiver. And the Dolphins went on a spending spree. They go with former New Orleans Saints tackle Terrion Armstead, 5 years, $75 million. They give Teddy Bridgewater a 1-year deal to back him up. They bring in Melvin Ingram to help on the defense. And then Raheem Mostert from San Francisco to kind of help their running game. But again, they really didn't lose much. I mean, they lose Jacoby Brissett. He goes to Cleveland. Philip Lindsay, who ended up in Indy, but ended up getting cut by Indy. And then Albert Wilson goes to Minnesota. So Miami looks like they could be a team that could be on the rise, that could definitely improve. But, here's the question. Can Tua mesh with Tyreek Hill? We know he can mesh with Jalen Waddle because they played together in Alabama. But can he also mesh with Tyreek Hill as well? And I mean, if they do that, you've got legit speed on both sides of the offense. You would have Jalen Waddle on one side, Tyreek Hill on the other. You got Mike Gesicki at tight end. And so you have a legit possible offense as long as they have a decent offensive line. And then you bring Raheem Mostert to help out the running game also. So that's something that you definitely have to say that the Dolphins could be that dark horse sleeper team in the AFC East. Now, they didn't have a whole bunch of picks because They gave some picks away for Tyreek Hill mainly. That's why they don't really have the picks. So they only ended up getting a couple of guys. They get a Skylar Thompson, a quarterback from Kansas State. They also got Eric Izukama, a wide receiver from Texas Tech, who I kind of was having an eye on. And then Channing Tindall, a linebacker from Georgia in the third round. So the Dolphins didn't really have a lot as far as draft picks because, mainly of the trade of Tyreek Hill was what that was. So at the end of the day, I think, again, Miami could be a sleeper team. They could be a team that could sneak up and, possibly win the AFC East coming out of nowhere on that. I don't really have them doing that, but I think they do take a small step back. But again, there could be some wins here and there that I don't see that could possibly happen. But I do have them going 8-9 on the year. I have them splitting with New England. I have them sweeping the Jets. I have them getting swept by the Buffalo Bills. Um, I have them losing to Baltimore and Cincinnati in the first few weeks. And then also, I do have them beating Minnesota. I have them beating Chicago. I have them losing to Detroit. I think they do get on a little bit of a roll, winning 4 in a row. Of course, they could take Chicago at Chicago versus Cleveland, also versus Houston. And I think they could sneak out to San Francisco and get a win as well. But then, you got that murderer's row of games with the LA Chargers, the Buffalo Bills, the Green Bay Packers, and the New England Patriots. I think they lose all 4 of those games, and that's why I think I have them at 8-9. So I know it's fins up. I know I got a couple of Dolphin fans that I know. Do y'all think I'm wrong on this? I think offensively they could definitely make some noise. Defense, their defensive line has always been pretty good. I know they got Christian Wilkins. They got Emmanuel Agba. I'm trying to see. Give me a moment. But, the Dolphins have always tend to have a sneaky good defense at times, and they showed that at times last year. Again, Emmanuel Agba, Melvin Ingram. You got a nice linebacker in Jerome Baker. They bring back Xavier Howard. So I do like where this defense is as far as I'm concerned. And again, offensively, you got some speed on the outside. You got Gesicki at tight end. You also got Chase Edmonds as well at running back. And then on the offensive line, of course, they bring in Connor Williams. He could play, guard or center. Liam Eichenberg, who is a tackle, moved him inside to guard. So there are some ways they could definitely go, and the Dolphins could definitely be a team that could sneak up and cause a little bit of trouble. Next, we go to probably one of the teams, probably a team that I hate the most, but I got to give some respect to the New England Patriots. Can't stand them, won't like them, but they ended up 10-7 last year. And the main impact was, how in the world was Belichick going to do on his own without Tom Brady and with a new quarterback in Mac Jones? And Mac Jones, for the most part, didn't do too bad. Threw for 3,800 yards, 22 touchdowns, did have 13 interceptions. He definitely started connecting with Jacoby Myers, who I thought was an underrated receiver coming out of NC State. 83 catches, 866 yards, 2 TDs. You really didn't get a whole lot from Hunter Henry, and you really didn't get a whole bunch from Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith in the offense. But, Jacoby Myers definitely picked up definitely picked up the slack for them, and definitely helped produce at a pretty high level. So I definitely like that. But I mean, again, they got Kendrick Bourne. Hunter Henry had 50 catches, 600 yards, 9 TDs. So excuse me, he did give them some help, but Jonnu did not. Only had 28 catches on the year, and so, can Jacoby Myers be that number one receiver for them? That still is a question that has to be answered. A couple of additions that they did make, they brought in running back Ty Montgomery, formerly of the Saints and the Packers, and then also Jabril Peppers at safety, formerly of the New York Giants. But some guys that they did lose one of their best offensive linemen in Ted Karras, who ended up in Cincinnati. uh, Two of their best defenders end up both going to LA with the Chargers in all pro cornerback JC Jackson and linebacker Kyle Van Noy. Um, and of course, they still got Matt Judon, who had 12 and a half sacks last year. And I know some of the guys were coming back who didn't play due to COVID, deciding to sit out because of COVID at times. But can the Patriots continue to grow without Brady in the picture? That's the big question. Is Belichick gets to prove he really is the greatest coach of all time. And so, you had Damian Harris, who, another one of those Alabama running backs that, definitely knows how to look good. Can he become that big time back, get over 1,000 yards? They also bring in Devontae Parker as well. And so, definitely a nice addition from the Miami Dolphins. Can the offensive line hold up? You got Cole Strange getting his shot. Isaiah Wynn, he was in some trade talks, not too long ago, but they've decided to hold on to him. And so, Devin McCourty is still hanging in there, but I don't know how much longer he's going to be before he ends up retiring at some point. But, this defense, they got some question marks. They used to be one of the best, one of the better defenses in the league, but right now it's just all in a question of, can they still be middle of the road, a legit good defense still, without having that great offensive piece on the other side? So that's some of the questions that I do have going forward. As far as in the draft, as I mentioned, Cole Strange at guard, who will end up starting. They got him in the first round. Tyquan Thornton, of course, is on IR for New England. The speedy wide receiver, from Baylor. And so, um, he's on injured reserve with a collarbone injury. Now, I don't know if that's the long-term IR or the short-term IR, but we'll definitely find that out. They also picked up a quarterback, Bailey Zappi from Western Kentucky, to back up Mac Jones. They definitely made a couple of nice selections there. They pick up a couple of running backs. They got a couple of corners in the third and fourth round. So the Patriots, you know one thing, they definitely know how to draft. That much is a fact. And so after that, I don't see it with New England. I just don't see it being good enough in New England. I don't know with Mac Jones. Mac Jones, can he, go into that maybe not first tier but second tier of quarterbacks, and I am just not sure. I do have them going 7-10 on the year, with victories over Pittsburgh, versus Detroit, Chicago, the Jets, at Arizona, Miami, and then at Buffalo. So I think they split with Buffalo. I think they split with Miami, and I think they split with the Jets. I just don't see the Patriots being that invincible team they once were. And, you know, and I am not saying all of this because I dislike the Patriots. That has absolutely nothing to do with it. I just, on paper, it doesn't look like a very good team. And again, I could be very well wrong. And for one of my best friends, he's probably hoping that I'm wrong, at least on this particular trajectory. So I have them finishing 7-10. It's not an easy schedule for them. You know, you got some tough games. You got Green Bay early. You got you got Indianapolis early, then later you got, Buffalo, Arizona, you got the Raiders, you got Cincinnati, coming down the stretch. Not a very easy stretch of games for the Patriots to play through. So that's why I have them at 7-10, as opposed to what they did last year at 10-7. So this is the Truth League Report. And I appreciate everybody tuning in to the show. Again, make sure you hit that like button, and then also make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and ring the bell so that you can get all of the content that does come out. And also remember, I'm going to have these on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts as well. So definitely be on the lookout on there if you cannot get to YouTube. So we're definitely gonna, put those out there as well. But the Truth League Report continues on, and we go to our final team, a team that I think is not just the favorite to win the East, but maybe a heavy favorite to win everything, and that is the Buffalo Bills, who finished 11-6 last year and ended up falling to the Kansas City Chiefs in a just spectacular division round game. I did get to watch some of that game, but I was, of course, so distraught being a Titans fan that I really didn't want to watch. But it was definitely one heck of a game. Biggest impact, Bills becoming a superpower. The Allen Diggs combo is good, really good. And so Josh Allen, of course, threw for 4,000 yards, 4,400 yards, 36 touchdowns, 15 picks. Stephon Diggs, who just got a new contract, as well, getting paid almost $26.5 million, had 103 catches, 1,225 yards, 10 TDs. Tremaine Edmonds, one of the better linebackers in the league as well. And they bring in some more added weapons. They bring in on defense Von Miller from the Super Bowl champion Rams, 6 years, $120 million. They get former Tennessee Titan guard Roger Saffold, also Jordan Phillips, a former defensive lineman, and then Jamison Crowder from the Jets as well. But some guys that they did lose, Jerry Hughes goes to goes to Houston. Harrison Phillips goes to Minnesota on the defensive line. Mitchell Trubisky goes to Pittsburgh. He will be the starting quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And also going to Pittsburgh, former big-time corner Levi Wallace will be heading to Pittsburgh. And remember also, Tre'Davious White is on the short term, is on the PUP, so he's not going to be playing the first few games of the year as well. So that is something that we definitely have to, that's something that has to be taken into account when it comes to Buffalo. Excuse me right there. But as far as Buffalo in the offseason, of course, like I said, they, re-upped Stephon Diggs. They bring in Von Miller. in the draft. They go with Kyer Elam from Florida at cornerback in round one. Then in round two, they get James Cook, who I believe is the younger brother of Dalvin Cook, running back out of Georgia. And they get Khalil Shakir, a wide receiver from Boise State in the fifth round. And then, of course, they had some controversy. They did pick Matt Orazia, the punter from San Diego State, in the sixth round. And, many deemed him the punt god. But then he's in some trouble legally over a rape charge. And so the Bills released him, I believe, last week. They released Matt Orazia, and they were looking for another punter. They were looking at former Tennessee Titan punter Brett Kern, but it looks like that is not going to happen. So, Buffalo, do they have a punter? As far as I'm concerned, but I believe it is Matt Mock, who I believe is the new punter for Buffalo. I'm gonna look on the depth chart for Buffalo right now to see who that is. Okay, punter is Sam Martin, who I think they brought in. So that's gonna be definitely interesting. Also, you got to remember Cole Beasley is no longer on this team either. He's a free agent. And so nobody's picked him up just yet. He could end up back in Buffalo. Of course, they picked up another Titans offensive lineman in David Quesenberry. Not really much of an improvement, but we'll definitely see how he does in Buffalo. And of course, Buffalo has that daunting defensive line with, you got Greg Rousseau, you got Ed Oliver, you got Von Miller up there. And then, you got Boogie Basham coming in to back him up, AJ Epinesa as well. So, and then you got one of the best safety combos in the league in Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde. So, man, they're going to have some good ones. So, that defense could be very, very stingy. And so this is what I have with Buffalo. They went 11-3, 11-6 last year. I think they go 13-4 and just completely dominate the AFC East. I do have them starting off 0-2 early on, but I think this is where they pick everything up. I see them going on a roll. I have them. What's crazy is I have them winning 13 in a row. I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but I do have them going 13-4. There's very few teams I see them losing to. Maybe a Kansas City, maybe a Green Bay. I think maybe if New England is up to the challenge and is really good, I could see New England upsetting them because that has happened before. So that's kind of a question that I do have, is that can they live up to the billing being the heavy favorites? Can they live up to it and they're not the underdog, they're the heavy favorite. This is a team that years and years back in the 90s lost 4 straight Super Bowls. So, can they get back to the big game and actually win it this time? But I do have them coming out of the AFC as the proverbial favorite. But again, some other teams are definitely going to be coming at them. But I do like Buffalo. I like Buffalo's look a lot as far as the team is concerned. Josh Allen, of course, has gotten better and better each year. Isaiah McKenzie's a speedster. But I think it really comes down to that offensive line for Buffalo. If they can hold up, this Bills team is going to be extremely dangerous when it comes to the AFC East and the AFC as a whole. So that's kind of my thoughts on the AFC East. I do again have Buffalo winning it at 13-4. I have the Dolphins coming in second at 8-9. Then at 7-10, I have the New England Patriots, and then I have the Jets bringing up the rear at 13-3. So again, let me know what y'all think in the comment section. Bills fans, Dolphin fans, Jet fans, Patriot fans. If I'm wrong on this, let me know what you think in the comment section below. But that's gonna just about do it for this AFC East preview. Um, Definitely, you could if you're just a football fan in general, you could definitely go back and look at the Truth League report that I did on the AFC and NFC North, as well as the AFC NFC South. So also coming out shortly, as well as going to be the NFC East preview. And then, of course, later on this week, before the season starts, I will definitely be doing the AFC West and the NFC West. And so, yeah, definitely stay tuned to that. And I thank everybody for tuning in to the Truth League Report. I'm your man, Chris, aka The Truth. And remember, y'all can check us out each and every week. It will be on Mondays. So we're gonna have on Friday. I may do a quick preview of the Bills and the Rams before Thursday night, and then Friday I will do my actual picks for the rest of the games for Week 1. So definitely stay tuned for that. And I thank everybody for tuning into the Truth League Report. I hope everybody has a very good rest of the night. And I holla.